I'm here sitting down with O Tyme, peer producer and maker of many hits. O Tyme, what kind of music do you produce? If people don't know you,
Well, myself, I'll produce rap, hip hop, maybe some gangsta. It varies, depends on the mood, what I have for beats. But also, I'd produce other people's stuff too for a price. But that's a different story. You can contact me for that information. But basically, whatever comes to mind, or whatever beat I feel, whatever I like.
What kind of well, how would you say for a simple thing of how many songs have you made?
So far?
Yeah, so far.
Well, if the camera was looking at me, then I'd be able to tell you.
Camera's looking at you.
I'd say about 20, going on 30.
Going on 30?
In 6 months.
Wow.
That's including ones with Soldier Steve, but I mean, probably about 15, 16 solos. Maybe more, actually, like maybe 25. That's just how a lot the Soldier Steve is on.
So so what do you seem to just get out of all this? What do you seem to get out of the being in the rap group? Or
perspective. I mean, look at the music, then look at the people in New York City, L.A., Compton. I mean, it's not really that good. It's rough, and I feel like what my music is showing is, hey, life isn't all good in the hood. People die, people get shot, people lose a child or most likely a son. I mean, you got kids in dumpsters. I mean, what's that going to do? I figure if I can make people realize, hey, look at this kid. He lives in some suburban hood or neighborhood or whatever the fuck you want to call it. He knows what's going on everywhere else. Maybe we should start to realize too and start to care. Because if you look everywhere else, I mean, they're not really doing a lot to help. Yeah, the police are buckling down, but that's not going to change anything. You've got still people killing each other.
Now, what do you think about these killings? What do you think about the gang killings and everything else like that lately that have been going on?
It's out of control. I think that if we don't stop or find a way to solve this issue, it's just going to get worse. And I think sometimes gangs are bad because you really don't know when you're going to die. I mean, you could wake up and then realize, hey, you're going to not go to bed tonight. Or police officers going to be at your door saying your son's not coming home. It's not that fun, always. And it's not good. But, then on the flip side, a gang could be. It depends on the type. Like, if it wasn't killing and drug dealing, just a crew or a squad, like a rap gang, then you know what? It could be pretty good because it provides structure and it's a family who watches out for each other. I mean, you don't need the killing for a gang. You don't need dealing drugs. You don't need to do anything. You could pass around a buck 40, have a good time with a bunch of people, and you could be a gang. That's the way I look at it. I mean, you don't really kill people to have to kill people to be a gang. Fuck violence. Write in your songs. That's what I do. So,
in your songs though, you talk about being in clubs and hoes and bitches and stuff like that. Why is that? And you talk about violence a lot too in your own simple game. Why?
Well, the violence isn't what I'm committing or what I'm doing. It's more of like, hey, look at society. Look at what the mind... I try to put you in the mindset of what's going through the person's mind. Or the story behind someone dying or what's going on. So I may get a little aggressive, but you've also got to keep in mind, I'm not just doing this for fun. I'm doing this to profit in a way. Not big time to start out, but maybe someday. And I try and give, it's like supply and demand. This is the type of music that I put out. They liked it, they want more. So what am I going to do? I'm going to put more out. The things with the clubs and all that stuff, I really ain't like that. But you kind of got to weigh the things. It's storytelling. And these kind of stories about being in the club are stories about having a good time, not having to worry about anything. I mean, yeah, you got to watch your back in the club, but look at where we are. You got to weigh the differences of people getting all kinds of good times. I mean, it might be the truest thing for anybody, but at least it's talking about having a good time. It's like a fantasy. And kind of shows you have some imagination, some heart.
Now, you speak about where you are, where you're from and everything. Where are you from if people do not understand you, or where you're actually coming from? What are you representing mostly?
I think that I represent Vermont. I mean, yes, it might be a hick state, but no matter where you are in the world, you can have a hard life. And I'll admit, I live in Essex, but I think that there's a stereotype with Essex. Essex is thought out to be the rich kids, people where the wealthiest are. It's not really. It just is really yes, it may be upscale and it has have good schools, but it doesn't mean they're rich. They tax the living fuck out of people. I mean, I really feel like I'm not wealthy. I don't get whatever I want. My parents can afford everything they want. They can't even afford to fix the cars sometimes. I mean, and they're shit. I mean, they're rusting out. They can't afford a new car. They can't go out, oh, I'm going to buy a new car today. We're not like that rich. We're tight on money. The economy sucks. And I think that just everybody's having a hard time realizing that not everybody's rich. And people are losing jobs and having to fight to survive.
What do you think about the economy though? You say it sucks and everything. So what if you could change the economy by your own songs? Would you be able to do that? Produce that music and then bring it out to the world, and then just when you get that money, you think you can just totally change the economy?
I think so, because I want to be spending it foreign, I'd be spending it local. And I think that if I try and support the economy and give to people who don't have that kind of stuff, then that's really going to be pointless. If I'm not really that selfish. If I make $1 million, then I'm going to not go out and buy a Lamborghini right off. I might donate some. I might help people out who's having a hard time. And I might just say, hey, you're having a hard time, you need some help. Here's a couple grand. I mean, so what if I might be famous and rich? But I do have a heart, and I kind of think that over time the economy will come back if people start to help.
Yeah. Now, when you do your music, what helps you do? What helps you make and continue on making music? Like, aren't you ever gonna run out of beats anytime soon? Or when do you think about stopping? When do you think about just doing some other thing? You know, do you ever think that?
Sometimes I do. I mean, sometimes I'll have a really day where there's so much hate on YouTube or on Facebook. I mean, the first thing I'll do, I might be a bitch for doing this, but I'll ban the motherfuckers from wherever they're from, wherever they are. I mean, they're on YouTube. Hey, you know what? You're fucking queer. You don't like my shit. Get the fuck out of my face. Same deal with Facebook. When you come whine to me on Facebook, I'm just going to tell you, look, I really could care less. I have 99 columns and a hater ain't one, I guess.
Yeah.
And look at where I am. I'm still writing music, and I still have a good time because I'm motivated. I think it's I call it I'm motivated by the hate. That's what I usually say. I mean, even as Social Steve, look at him. He can't agree more. I think that he makes me realize that no matter how much people hate you, you still got those fans that you gotta give stuff for and put out for them. Like, I've been talking with a fan lately and he's just been like, "You're the shit. Keep it up." And I've just been like, yeah, I am the shit. I don't really see what the point is going when I got so much going for me. I got people from fucking South Africa telling me to do this shit. And New York City, I mean, what the hell? I mean, Radiohead. It's like, damn, you got something going. Keep it up. It's good. And I don't really see the point in you quitting. Or should. I don't give up easily.
That's good. That's really good. Now, your partner, Soldier Steve, what can you tell us about him? Like, what is he like in and out of the studio?
Alright. Out of the studio, he's a brother. I mean, he'd be having some hard days, and then, of course, me being me, I tell him, yo, chill out. You're really uptight. You're really upset. And the first time, he was really upset. I don't remember what it was, but I don't think that I'm really going to share because it's between me and him. I kind of said, sit down, throw on Hood Life, and listen to what she said, and to what I said, because you're going through a hard time, and you realize, hey, why am I beating myself up? It's just somebody else, or an issue. What is it going to do to me? It's going to put me down. I need to pick myself back up and realize, what am I doing? I don't really realize what it is. Now, inside the studio, what the fuck? Honestly. No offense to him. But I think that sometimes he's good and sometimes he's not. Piss him off and I can get stuff out of him. Make him, if he's in a really good mood, I might be able to get stuff out of him. But if he's not really either or just really depressed, I really can't get a damn thing out of him. And of course, he can't stand being recorded, which is really hard. Because he knows when I'm recording, but that's okay. I blindfold him and make sure that he doesn't kill himself tripping over wires. Pretty soon we'll have a booth set up, so that way he will never know when he's recording. And it's going to be good, but then again, it'll be a good thing. I'm going to give up my timing skills that I'll have to work on, but I think that I can get that down pretty quick. But Soldier Steve, I think, is able to record if he doesn't know that he's recording or not. And I think that that's his main thing. I think he has that mic fright. Because he's looking around and he can't really see squat about anything. He'll mess it up. I mean, sometimes I'd be listening to his stuff and when he's alone, and he'd just be going through and just be like, oh, fuck. And I just laugh my nuts off because it's just funny as hell. I mean, not because it's him, but just because of the way he says it. He'll have a really good pace going. But, I mean, he and I, our mindset is not the same. Like, for me, when I'm coming up with stuff, I'm not thinking of what to say. I'm thinking of what's my next word that's going to rhyme, and how am I going to integrate that into what I have so far.
Yep.
Because you don't want it to sound bad if you got something really going good, and then you mess it up and have a word that sounds weird or a line that sounds weird. It's not going to be good. It's going to be like he doesn't really have it. I put quantity below quality. I put more work into quality and sound, how it sounds, than how many I put out. And I think that a lot of these people, locally, and I'm not dissing anybody, and I'm not putting anybody down. Let me get that clear. I'm just stating an opinion and a little bit of advice. Anybody who raps, if you can do a song in a day, or 3 or 4 songs in an hour, please, I think that maybe you need to put more work into it, considering for quantity. You may say that it's high quality, but take your time. Look at the songs that I have. Look at dubstep. It took me 4 days just to get that 2-minute sample. Even more. And I worked on that for 3 or 4 hours a day. Look at, now compared to the song like Rolling Through, that took me 15 minutes. But that was my first song that I recorded on my new mic. And that was in December. End of December. Look at me now. I know what I'm doing, and I kind of realize I need to put more time into quality, making sure all these levels are even. And if somebody wants to work with me, give me a shout. I'll work with you. I'll help you improve. I'll help you step your game up. I mean, yeah, I might have to charge you money, but honest man's got to make a living. And that's all. That's why, I don't profit big off this now.
Okay, is there any last things you would like to say to either fans, relatives, or whatever? Even though I know Soldier Steve doesn't have that many relatives. He's not from around here. I believe I heard that he's from Queens, New York. So just guess holler out to all those peeps as well. But other than that, O Tyme, what about you? Any words of wisdom, I should say.
Words of wisdom, absolutely. Sometimes I feel like people who are hating feel that they are just looking for a fight. I believe, and I believe that, and a lot of people would agree, and I think that Soldier Steve would agree, that you should talk it out instead of walk it out. What's the point in fighting? Because if you beat me up, best chances are that one of my friends who doesn't like it, even though I don't tell him, they're going to come and beat you up. And then what's that going to do? They're going to come and beat that person up, and it's just going to keep on going to a snowball effect. I feel like it's pointless. Why fight when you can talk it out and solve the issue? It's so much easier, and it's so much more civil. And you won't get in trouble with the police. Fuck dealing with the pigs. Nothing against them, but it's kind of stupid. So, peace.